Right, so we're on the whiteboard now. The first video is right here. I'll put all the videos on this whiteboard here. Let's have a look at these equations, and hopefully it probably makes more or less sense before, but we'll just I'll make some written notes now. So I use the phrase negative reciprocal. So the reciprocal of x would be 1 over x, but also the reciprocal of 1 over x would be x, because we're doing 1 divided by 1 over x. Now when you divide, I'll tell you what, we'll leave that for another lesson, but basically if you divide 1 over x, it gives you x. If you divide x, obviously gives you 1 over, well, sorry, if you do 1 over x, gives you x. If you 1 over x gives you x, and then 1 over x, obviously just 1 over x. Okay, so the negative reciprocal of would be the negative of any one of these. So it'd actually be, that would produce a negative 1 over x, and the negative reciprocal of 1 over x would be negative x, and obviously the negative of minus 1 over x would be x, and the negative reciprocal of negative x would be 1 over x. Okay, hope that makes sense. So essentially, I was talking about this m value here before, wasn't I? So what I'm talking about there is that all graphs of y equals mx plus c, all of these go to the origin, so c is 0. In other words, it's going to be just be y equals mx. However, whether there is a reciprocal or not, it doesn't matter. The point is that if we're going to do an equation for the perpendicular line, so I will do a subscript here, the gradient of the perpendicular line is always going to be equal to the negative reciprocal of the gradient of the original line. So we can say that the gradient of the perpendicular line is equal to negative 1 over m, which is the gradient of that line there. And this works either way around, so we'll just apply that to an example just to demonstrate this. If this is already making sense, by the way, feel free just to skip to the next video, of course. I just wanted to get some clear notes up about this one. What I was going to say. So let's say the original, I'm going to switch backwards against the opposite direction to what makes sense, just to make it a bit easier and show you that it works both ways. Let's say the original line is negative 1/4. Sorry, the original gradient is negative 1/4. So like this one here, it should be that the perpendicular gradient should be 4. So MP is equal to negative 1 over negative 1 over 4. Right, so divide, okay, I will talk about how to divide fractions briefly then. So if I'm going to apply the rule that when we do a fraction like a over b divided by c over d, that is identical. This is just a rule to saying a over b times d over c. So if I flip this, it changed the divide to a times, and that's going to be equal to AD over BC. Now, in this case, we've got minus 1, so we could say minus 1 over 1 divided by negative 1 over 1/4, which is the same as, so we're going to flip this one here, negative 1 over 1 times 4 over negative 1. And then we times the top and the bottom, we have minus 4 over minus 1, which will just give us 4. Okay, so that's an example there. Now, if you click on this link here, you can play around with all of these things, and so you'll have all this graph to play around with. But you can also just go to Desmos calculator and play and type them in yourself anyway. So I'll stop there, and now the next video is going to be about circular graphs. Okay.